Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to reevaluate and talk once again about the characters in the biometric subscription and the X Gene subscription, which are two different things you can purchase to give you 300 crystals plus 30 days of 20 biometrics. There's been 3 new characters added since the last time I did this video. I last did it at the beginning of April. After that we got Rescue, then we got Jubilee, then we got Electro, and now we have Namor, so actually 4, in addition to a uniform for Spider-Man 2099. So there have been 5 characters who have either been added or had a dramatic shift in their power due to a uniform. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about both lists. I also wanted to do a bit more of a comparison between the Tier 1 lists, because I know a lot of you, well, some of you purchased the subscription, but you're just trying to get a bunch of different characters. Some people unlock each character with one day, just 20 bios, and then for the remaining days they'll focus on a couple of good characters, and then they won't aim for tier 2s, they'll aim for a bunch of strong tier 1s. So I want to also talk about which of the 2 subscriptions I think is better, if that's what your tactic is. So first of all, let's throw up my list for best tier 1 bio sub and X Gene sub, and this is kind of the first comparison that I want to make. Now the bio sub is a bit different because you do get 1 premium character as a new account. So the premium character that you select, it can't be an X Gene character, I believe, but it can be any of the ones that I've listed there: Luna Snow, Ghost Panther, Sentinel, Spider-Man 2099, or Rescue. You could even choose Nick Fury as well. But keep in mind, Nick Fury can be purchased separately for 2,500 crystals at 6 stars, so basically premium, from the Captain Marvel Legendary Battle. So that is another way of obtaining him at 6 stars without even having to spend any money, just 2,500 crystals, which you can save up in about a month, so it's really not that bad. But these are the characters that I think are strongest at tier 1 in both of the different subscriptions. Now, if I'm comparing the characters in the bio sub to the characters in the X Gene sub, I think the bio sub wins out by a little bit because there's 5 characters versus 4. Weapon Hex is really strong at tier 1 because of the all defense down on her 4th skill. It doesn't need the tier 2 to work. I mean, the buffs to herself, the buff effects is nice, but that's when she's actually playing. As a striker, you really just need her to be at 6 stars to get that minus 2% that goes up to minus 100%. That's really what you want. It goes up to the same amount as Deadpool's tier 3 skill, and that's really the money maker there. So if you want Weapon Hex, for example, as a striker for that support value in World Boss Ultimate, then yeah, you just need her at tier 1. So that's why she's at the top of that list. I changed it around. I think Gambit was originally the best tier 1 X Gene character. That's wrong. I think Namor's is just a bit better than Gambit because he probably does similar damage, but he's got a bit more survivability than Gambit, and you know, good combat characters are a lot harder to come by than good Blast. And then Juggernaut rounds out the list because he's got the he doesn't have the healing at tier 1. We figured that out last time with the JoJo meme. But he does have, you know, all defense, decreased damage received, and he's got all defense down as well. So he is good enough for a lot of, you know, existing content even at tier 1. So those are basically the 2 lists. I don't really want to talk too much about the bio sub characters at tier 1 because we all know how good they are. The only additions that I want to talk about are Spider-Man 2099 and Rescue. Rescue is there as just a good tier 1 character. Unlike Juggernaut, she does get her heal at tier 1. It's part of her 4-star passive, so she is quite tanky from the get-go. I think her damage is pretty low at tier 1 from what I remember, but her healing and her survivability is not low, and she has immunity. She's got you know, the clones. She's got good kind of AoE, and she's got decent damage. So I think she definitely deserves to be there. She's a solid addition to your roster even at tier 1. Spider-Man 2099 is only a solid addition to your roster at tier 1. I would say above solid if you have his uniform. So that's something to take into consideration. Without this uniform, I wouldn't even consider 2099. Unlike Rescue, who has the healing and stuff, he doesn't equate. Excuse me, sorry. But with his uniform, he absolutely does. So that is something to consider. Luna Snow doesn't need her uniform, but he absolutely does. Then we have Sentinel and Ghost Panther. And then we look at the tier 2 bio sub and X Gene sub. The bio sub opens up a lot more. It basically includes all of the characters. The X Gene sub is a lot shorter, but I'll still include all of the characters. But as you can see there's just a lot more value overall in the bio sub at tier 2, just because there's so many more characters. And you've got Victorious there because, you know, you can farm for her bios, but it's a bit tedious. You've got Valkyrie, you've got the new addition for ABX Electro added in as well. So you've got a lot of new faces. Spider-Man 2099 vaults up to the top 4 at tier 2. He's very, very strong. He's probably stronger as a standalone character than Ghost Panther, but Ghost Panther has the leadership / support value that 2099 doesn't have. But otherwise, as far as the strongest standalone characters, 2099 I think is number 2 behind Luna Snow. He does insane, ridiculous damage. If you just want a damage dealing character, he is one of the best on either list. He's like Gambit, he just does a ton of damage. And he's got a really, really strong 5th skill, iframe, where he moves around. It's literally kind of just like Gambit. But yeah, Luna Snow still takes the cake. And then you got Ghost Panther Nick Fury. Nick Fury obviously doesn't appear on the Tier 1 best of because he's just not that good at Tier 1. He doesn't have any buffs to pass on to the team. He just has the leadership. And you can also get him for 2,500 crystals, so it feels weird to put him on the best Tier 1s. Like, it's also doesn't make sense to put Clea there or Satana there or Victorious, even though you can select those all from the bio sub, because you can get them elsewhere for free or just for crystals that you can farm up for free. But yeah, the problem with the bio sub is that it's very top heavy. If you don't play ABX, you don't care about Electro. Valkyrie is, situationally useful. Rescue may or may not be for your team. So there's really only 4 or 5 kind of must-have bio sub characters at Tier 2. And then for the X-Gene sub, it's also, it's much smaller, but it's still extremely top heavy. I mean, the difference between Jubilee's value and Namor's is absolutely insane. Jubilee is really just a Shadowland character, let's be honest. She has some value for World Boss Ultimate, but very, very little. And then Namor has tons of potential because he can get to Tier 3. So that's another reason why you might consider getting the X-Gene sub, because once you get him to Tier 2, then you can start that process of getting him to Tier 3, and we know how powerful he is as a Tier 3 character. He's very, very strong, does well in a lot of content right now, and he will be getting a uniform sometime in the future to make him even stronger. So I think that while the X-Gene sub is gaining in terms of momentum, in terms of its value in comparison to the bio sub, I do still think that the bio sub is better than the X-Gene sub. Although there are a lot more characters to choose from with the bio sub, you do have to just be careful of a lot of the bad characters that used to be good, especially for returning players. That, oh man, Enchantress used to be so good. Like, no, completely terrible. Even Hyperion, he's just a leadership. There's so many here. Ironheart's just a leadership that are just not good at all. Even like Agent Venom, he needs the uniform. He needs a lot of work to be good, and even then, he gets easily outshadowed and outclassed by He gets put in the shadows by Spider-Man 2099 with his uniform, and there's just so many bad ones. I mean, if you're not using, Ghost, you really don't need Ghost anymore. If you have Electro, they've literally replaced one bio sub ABX character with another one, both speed villains. So there really is a niche that's going on here, and you really have to pay attention to that. If you're not interested in those characters, if you're not interested in ABX, then yeah, you know what, maybe the X-Gene sub makes more sense for you. But if you are into ABX and you're trying to push to get into a top 16 alliance or to stay there, a lot of times you do have to pony up. I mean, Electro's not a very good character. He's there with Agent Venom, but honestly, he might be worse. The only good thing about, well, not the only good thing, but one of the only good things about Electro is that he has a leadership that applies to the Sinister Six, and it's very, very powerful. But he's a pretty difficult character to use. And although he's a villain, he is a speed type, so he does lose some stats there. I would say he's probably about as good as Agent Venom, a little bit worse on the survivability, possibly a little bit better on the damage front. But again, he's also tough to use. You'll find out when you use his 5th skill, and the orb just goes wherever the hell it wants. So yeah, I mean, I think there are some obvious flaws to the bio sub, but it is overall better. But then on the other hand, the X-Gene sub, it's so lean. There's just there's so few characters to choose from, but most of them are very, very good. I'm not really going to talk much, if at all. I'm going to now, but Magic and Colossus, honestly, just skip them. They really just need uniforms to be even comparable to relevant. They don't even come close to any of these characters, any of these other characters on this list. And Colossus is farmable, so he's not even. I'm not even going to mention him at all, like period. Because you can get him for free, so there's no point in spending money on him, and he pales in comparison to any of these characters on here by a long shot. So I hope that this kind of breakdown helps you guys make a decision and sort of see the value in the X-Gene sub and the bio sub. They're both good options for different reasons. They both have strong characters like Luna Snow, Luna Snow, Spider-Man 2099, Sentinel, just strong standalone characters. On the other hand, you have you know, Namor, Gambit, and Juggernaut. And then they also have really good support characters. Biosub, again, has more. Nick Fury, Ghost Panther, possibly even Ghost. There's some support there, leadership and passive. And then the X-Gene sub really only has Weapon Hex as sort of a support type character for now. Hopefully we'll see more X-Gene characters. I mean, I like getting free X-Gene characters or like kind of farmable mutants, but I also do want the X-Gene sub to be valuable, to be worthwhile, so that newer players or players that are thinking of doing a first-time investment have enough options. You know, it's really nice that you can spend your first 10 days on the biosub and you can unlock 10 good characters. That's honestly truthful. After 4 days with the X-Gene sub, there's no more good characters to unlock. So you're basically deciding, you know, am I gonna unlock Magic and leave her at 1 star forever, or until she gets a Phoenix Force uniform, or am I just gonna start collecting bios for another character? Just as a final heads up for you guys, both the X-Gene sub and the bio sub only give you 600 crystals, or sorry, 600 bios, but you need 630 bios to get a character to 6 stars. So you absolutely must use at least 1 rank up ticket, at least at minimum. I believe a 3-star rank up ticket, a 2-star rank up ticket actually doesn't cut it. So at minimum, you have to use a 3-star rank up ticket. Of course, the best value, the smartest way to do it, although it costs more, is to use a mega rank up ticket on 1 character, not Carnage in this case, but like use a mega rank up ticket on a 1-star Nick Fury, get him to 6 stars, and then use the remaining days, or, you know, 10 or 20 of those days to get their gears to 20, and then tier 2 them with a tier 2 ticket. And using that method, if you have, let's say, 2 tier 2 tickets and 2 mega rank up tickets, you could theoretically get 2 characters to tier 2 in either the X-Gene sub or the bio sub, and then finish off 1 character possibly to 6 stars, or some of their gears if you have a 3rd mega rank up ticket. So hopefully this discussion and these kind of divisions and these lists help you guys to make decisions. It's really important to isolate whether you're going for tier 1s or whether you want tier 2s, and then from there to compare, okay, who do I have, who am I missing, what do I need? Do I need straight up damage? Do I need leaderships and support? Do I need a striker for World Boss Ultimate? So on and so forth. Hit it up in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I'll be at Toronto Fan Expo today in a few hours, so if you're in Toronto and you want to see me, come hang out, come say hi. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.